In diesem Format geht es um mehr als nur Sport. Sport hilft mir, meine Gedanken zu befreien, im Alltag und im Leben. Aber ich weiß auch, das gilt nicht für alle. Deshalb spreche ich mit fremden Menschen in Cafés darüber, wie sie ihren Geist befreien und welche Perspektiven es noch gibt.
Can you give us a little introduction about yourself, about who you are, where you're from, and what is your passion?
I'm Keiko and I'm from Taiwan. My passion is in the dance field, in the performance field, and I'm now studying my dance master in Cologne.
My name is Otei. I am 34. I'm becoming 35 in a week. From Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria, but I moved to Germany when I was 11. So I went to school here in Germany, in Berlin, traveled quite a lot. I'm very passionate about self-exploration, about becoming my best self, whatever that means. Yeah, I think about this stuff, I write about this stuff, I think about relationships with ourselves and other people a lot.
What does free your mind mean to you?
Free your mind, for me, it's somehow you have to have enough knowledge before freeing your mind.
Do you mean by that?
I feel like it's hard for people who don't have body experience, and when you just tell them, just free yourself and just dance, just free yourself. I don't feel like that works that much. Before freeing my mind, have to have enough knowledge in what aspect you want to free yourself.
I think a lot of people are trapped in their heads. A lot of people spend a lot of times with beliefs and ideas that stop them from acting on a day-to-day like their best selves. So when I hear the words free your mind, I assume means how do you stop letting these thoughts and ideas trap you, and how can you be a more creative version of yourself? That's what I would say. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I think it takes a lot of work. Like I told you in the start, I really work on this specific subject of feeling very unrestrained. The best times I felt very free were when I was traveling, when I left the environment that defined me, and I was somewhere completely new where no one knew who I was. I got to redefine myself. I got to sound different. I could pretend to be a different personality, and so in many ways it felt very free. I've tried to take that practice, that feeling I had abroad, and try to bring it with me back home so that I can feel like every single day is a new day, a new opportunity. I would say that I access that feeling a lot.
Okay.
I access the feeling of a free mind quite a lot. Yeah. But it's taking lots of work. I'm not saying it's easy.
Writing, I think.
Okay.
But it's not like I'm really good at writing, but just I really like to just don't think about anything and just write and write and write, even though that doesn't make sense for anyone else, but that's somehow a way for me to free my mind. It's like letting things out, but in a quiet way, which I like.
Are you doing things then in the evening or in the morning or in the situation when you really feel like stuck?
When there's a lot on my mind, then I really need a paper and a pen and then just list out something, or when I have a lot of emotional that I couldn't cope with it anymore, then I will just write it down first, or else I will feel like I will say something that I will regret. So then I feel like I need to write down first.
Okay.
What I would say affect me more is social norm. Because back in Taiwan, I always have a feeling that I have to be some kind of person. I feel like I'm chasing someone want me to do, and that stuck me. And after I came here, I feel like people is more open. Not everyone, of course, but in general, people are more open, and people here express more themselves, and that makes me feel more comfortable to say it out loud.
I would say that the norms and the traditions are like a current. As long as your personality and your wants and your desires are matching the current, then it's quite easy. You can swim along similarly. But if for any reason, let's say freeing your mind means that you have a different perspective than the tradition, now all of a sudden you're swimming against the current. And it's much, much harder to swim against the current, which means that it's very, very hard for you to actually free your mind. So let's say, for example, you decide that you want to build a business, but then everyone around you has said, gone to university and has gotten a job, classic way. Now, freeing your mind would mean, okay, you are now able to have the energy and the creativity to make your business. But now you're in an environment that's telling you, get a job, get a job. So all of a sudden, what should be an easy process of you just waking up and doing your business is much more difficult because you're swimming against all these voices who are telling you need to get a job. So I would definitely say, yeah, it influences the ability for you to actually live that version of yourself, for sure.
Do you have like maybe one specific example?
I mean, there's, I would say, first of all, like, the world back then is very different to the world now.
Yeah.
I think the world we have right now, those cultures are actually a lot more similar because we're all watching the same social media, we're all on the same internet.
Yeah.
But I would say one of the easiest examples is the relationship between parents and kids and parents and their like grandparents and stuff. The points like culturally in Nigeria, all these people live in the same place. All these people are in the same building. And we don't do anything such as like sending the kids to Kita or sending the adults to the grandparents to Altenheim. And so it's a different way of just growing up and actually interacting, and it's more of a village setup, right? Even though I was living in a city, like it felt more like a village. Like my neighbors would beat the shit out of me if I do something. Like, I'm not saying it's good to beat the shit out of anyone. Don't beat the shit out of anyone. But like it was part of it, so it was like they felt like my parents too.
Yeah.
My neighbors all felt like my parents. When I didn't have money, I went to the shop. She'll just give it to me for free. That's like the upside. But of course the downside is because those people have a lot of influence in your life. Like even right now, my mom is constantly influenced by people back home. Like they'll say, I want this, you should do this, you should not do this. So I would say like here in Germany, it's been much more individual. Like the second you build a family, you sort of separate yourself from everybody else. You're now your own small units. The kids have to go to Kita very quick because the parents have to work. Or the second you get too old, you get moved on to the Rentenheim. And there are pros and cons. This one is better for productivity. It means the country moves faster and you make more money, which is not a bad thing. But then you feel very lonely. And on the other hand, this one is very great for community. You constantly have someone around. You can always talk to people. But on the other hand, those people influence your life too much.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a simple difference. There's much more, of course. Oh, I love this question. I really do. No. Like I was telling my friend by the way that you were gonna interview me, and she was like, "You're gonna talk about yoga, aren't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." It doesn't matter if you had asked this question or not. Somehow I was gonna bring yoga into it.
Okay.
I love yoga as my practice. It's been an incredible journey for me because it's really redefined my relationship with my body. I think growing up, I've always been a big guy, and so people have always said, "Oh, do rugby, go to the gym." Always thinks about competition, thinks about like climbing certain ladders, lifting more weights. I'm not saying those are bad things. I think those things are useful as well. But my practice is yoga because it's something that can adapt to how I feel on different days. So it's not something I do only when I'm highly motivated. I might be super sick and I'll have some way to move. It's very much about creating a balance, which when you talk about freeing your mind, it's perfect because it's really like what happens for me is every time I'm doing my work, which is on a computer, I'm very much in my head. I see the world as me as this person here and everything else just like a car. It just doesn't matter. When I practice, all of this becomes me again. So for example, like my knee is shaking and I'm like, oh, that's me. Or my toes, so all of these things, because in the end, we are all of this. But then on a normal day-to-day basis, you shift your whole identity to just this person here, the voice or what you're seeing. And I think that's what, when you say free your mind, to me, it's really anything that can help you feel like you're not just this. You're not just a voice. You're not just this perspective. You are the hands, how this feels, the pressure of your legs on the bench. All these practices that get you to realize that you are more than just the voice, free your mind. And yoga, for me, has been a really great way to do that.
Perfect. Now I feel like I have to go to a yoga class.
You should, man. It's a process to get used to it, but you should, because lots of guys very often think I'm not flexible, so I shouldn't do it. That's precisely why you should do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
it's the process of the practice that makes you flexible. Right.
Stretching.
Are you doing this every morning or?
I don't do it every day,
Why you
which is a
laughing?
shame. I should do it every day. But yeah, stretching, I think. Back in Taiwan, I lived in a big city, Taipei, for 6 years. And I like it, but it somehow, I feel suffocated when I'm there too long. So I feel like I really need to live in nature. Then I came here as an au pair and I live in out of nowhere. Like there's really nothing
Yeah.
for an year. Then I feel like I need city again. So I would say I'm a person who need both,
Okay.
like to balance.
I would say a lot, but actually the thing is, it's not that I'm trying to imply that some places are necessarily better, right? Because if you were born in Cambodia, the way you would be different to the person who was born here, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that person is more free in their mind, right? So I think I would say the environment does matter. Certain cultures are more about balance, which means that in those cultures you are very likely to have a freer mind, I guess. Yes, for sure. It's because the mind has just become way more overvalued. Like I was describing before, this difference between looking at the world from here and everywhere. You're in a world where, because of infrastructure or whatever, you're very physical. Let's say you're farming. You're in your body, you're everywhere, you're moving all these parts of your body. So naturally, in that world, you wouldn't have the same level of problem as we have in this world, where it's all about computers, all about what you're able to write about, your thoughts. These things are not bad. Honestly, one of my favorite ideas, which I love to share, is that everything is poison. It's the amount that determines what's not poison. It's a saying by a guy called Paracelsus, a long time, the guy who made, I think, medicine. His point is that this Dosis matters gifts, das sagt man das auf Deutsch, right?
Yeah.
And I take that quite literally, in the sense of the problem is not that we're thinking a lot or using computers, is that we're doing it too much. It's that the amount that's good enough for you is specific to you. But then if all of us are trying to like work 8 hours in front of computers, so we're all doing this huge amount, even though each of us needs a different amount. So for us, it very quickly becomes poison. The point I'm making as well is that even if you were doing too much physical exercise, for example, yes, because in contrast to this world where you're too much in your head, doing exercise and moving your body a lot is going to move you towards balance. But at some point, if you continue doing it, it's going to become a poison too, right? So it's not about saying that one answer is right and the other answer is wrong. It's more that the question is, how do you balance both? So to me, what I'm saying is, in this modern time, we're definitely overdoing it on the overvaluing of our mind, of thinking that we are always our mind, or thoughts is the best thing, or rationality, analysis, all these things, we overvalue them. So to get a bit more balance, like I think you're suggesting, we need to do more in our body. We have to have a different relationship with our bodies, right? So that way you're bringing this one up and you're getting more balance. But then again, I would say, keep in mind, if you overdo this, if you now say this is bad, I don't want to do this, I'm gonna do only this, you're gonna just create the same problem on the other way. And so we've been given two gifts. We've been given our mind and our body, and the goal is to use both in balance. Not to say one is wrong and one is right.
I'm a person who urges for the sense of belonging. So even though I think individual freedom is really important, but I still need to feel like I belong in specific community.
I think it's important, but I think it's very difficult to strike. It's a very difficult balance to strike. And honestly, I take maybe a controversial take in that I think that if you do the individual thing well, the other thing will solve itself. Because I feel like what happens is we think that the balance needs to be, I spend 4 hours on this and 4 hours on that. But in practice, it's more like, it might be more efficient if you really because I feel like the more understanding you become of yourself, the more you understand what it feels like to be a good human being, a kind human being, I think that just automatically solves this problem. Then you automatically start behaving that way. So what I'm saying is, the balance is super, super important, but I don't think the way to get there is necessarily thinking I have to split my time half-half, right? I don't think that's the way to get to that balance. I think the way to get to that balance actually is to be very conscientious about you as an individual, really thinking about what do I want, what's my purpose, what do I want to, how do I make myself happy? Because when you start working on that problem, you start to realize that you won't be happy until the people around you are happy as well. And so just in just solving your problem here, you indirectly solve the other problems, right? Whereas if you try and do the splitting thing, then it becomes very superficial, I think. There's someone like, okay, what do I have to do for them to think I care about the environment? Bro, this is my approach. What I'm doing right now as well is that I'm realizing the kinder I am to myself, the more I'm focused on being very clear of what it means to be me, the kinder I become to my environment as well. I think the main thing is to show you that alternative ways of living exist. I think that's the key thing I would say happened for me. I'm not saying this is the only way to get this. There's lots of ways to get curious about other cultures and other ways of living. But for me personally, it was like I was living in a box. This is what the world needs to look like. And then I just left. I went to Asia, met so many cool people, man. Like so many people doing just crazy cool shit, and they were so less scared of the world than I was. I was scared, even though I was this big guy, and everywhere I was looking, people were more scared of me because they would see me. I'm like, right? But deep inside, I was frightened. I was always like nervous and always like, and I just met people who were just like free. They're just like, yeah, we'll make the best of it. We'll try our best. We'll do what we can. And at first, it shook me. At first, it was just like, how is this possible? Like, are they pretending? Is it a lie? And I was uncomfortable for years. And I think it's only around the last 3 years actually that I started to settle into, okay, I can be like that. Also, the other thing is to keep in mind is there's this sense very often that who we are is just one thing that cannot change. Like there's this sense that my personality was defined when I was 1 year old and I'm that same person. I think traveling and experiencing other cultures and other lifestyles, you start to realize that actually who you are is a result of how you live. So if you start living differently from this moment on, for the next 10 years, you will change, right? And that's something that's very difficult to see if you're only seeing one perspective, if you're only in one place. So I think when I have children, I definitely encourage traveling, not as an escape, because what happens in our culture as well is that it becomes an escape. People start realizing, oh, I like who I am when I'm there, not when I'm here. The point is to learn to integrate the two people. But it's definitely a way to explore who you want to become outside of this environment that brought you up.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Also, a lot of people think like, okay, if I just move out or move anywhere, everything will change. I'll become a better person. I will change.
Maybe for a while, maybe for a short time,
Yeah.
maybe for like a short moment, but sooner or later, you're carrying, unless you address the underlying issue, they will just come up in a different way. And so what people think is, I have to move again, I have to keep moving. So all you're doing is kind of running away from yourself, right? And I think that's typically the trap. That's typically the trap.
Really care about what people think, and that stalks me because, like, for example, speaking German, I just realized I couldn't speak German comfortably in front of the person I know a little bit, but it's like when I know the person really well, it's fine for me. But if I just know them a little bit, then I really couldn't say anything in German because that stalks me. Like, I care about that too much.
Okay.
But if it's like in front of someone that I would just meet once, then it's fine. So like that process starts me.
Okay. Do you have this situation a lot of time?
Yeah, in school, especially the first semester, because we are just getting to know each other and like.
I think like the reality is, despite everything I've just told you, I've spent 30 of my years living a certain way, and those habits are strong, and they are still who I am. I'm not saying I have a problem with them, they're just still who I am. So like, for example, even on a day-to-day basis, I face the internal conflict of, should I be doing what I want to do, or should I be doing the right thing? Like I told you, it's the thing with the currents again. So I would say like, it's just, I've spent a long time being one thing, and so even though I know how to become this other thing, it will take time. And I have to do it in a way that's kind and it's not making this other version of myself the enemy, because it's not. It's who I am. So I would say, yeah, it's just habits. Habits are the thing that limit us the most. And the unfortunate thing is the only way to overcome a habit is to create a new one. And that just takes time. So yeah.
Read more, spend more time on what you like. Get to know yourself, not get to know what other people think who you are. Get to know who you truly are.
I would say do what makes you happy. And I think it sounds like such a cliche advice. It really does, and I get it, why it sounds, because happiness as a concept sounds so vague. But honestly, man, if you do more of the things that make you on a day-to-day feel passionate and happy, you will free your mind. It's simple as that, because those things will include, meeting your friends, relating with people, moving your body, spending time with your family, and finding the things that interest you, keep you curious, keep you playful. It's like, I'm not saying that you can't make these things into a job. I'm not saying you can't make money from these things. That's the second step, right? Because the reality is you live in a world that needs money. There's no debating that. There's no debating that. But that's the second problem. The second problem is like, okay, I figure out my day-to-day, I can live my day-to-day in a way that makes me happy. That makes me, that I feel like high energy this time of the day, and I do lots of cool stuff, and I'm happy to go to sleep and go for the next day. I think if you can solve that first problem of like, okay, how do I make today, and then just keep doing that day by day, that frees your mind. And then the second problem becomes, okay, how do I turn this process I have into something that gives value to other people? And that's when the money thing comes in. But I think we do it often the other way around. We try to figure out like, how do I make money, because we're scared. We're acting from fear, so we want to survive, so we're thinking, how do I make money first? And the answer to that question, if it's the first question, is very limiting. It's very much like, okay, what are other people doing? And it doesn't really give a shit about you. And so you end up thinking all the time, I have to think about what that person's doing, how can I copy it, how can I do the same thing? And then you think to yourself, oh, I'll solve this problem, and then someday I'll figure out how to make my day fun. But it rarely happens. It's the other way. So I think that would be the advice. I'm thinking, what would I tell my kid? Or how will I try to bring up my kid someday? And it will be like, it's a cliche, I know everyone's gonna laugh at this advice, but dude, try and be happy on a day-to-day basis. Just try and enjoy your day. If you can do that first consistently, then solve the next problem.